What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So things are getting worse here. The U.S. is actually now sending an aircraft carrier group to the Eastern Mediterranean in response to the terrorist attack on Israel. That's right. This comes here. I'll show you this here in a second. This comes as the death toll nears 1,200, including now 9 U.S. citizens. 9 U.S. citizens. Israel's defense minister has ordered a complete siege, quote, of the Gaza Strip in response to this weekend's attack. I also have here, I will show you in a moment, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, his response. If you actually seen, I mentioned here in a video, last video or two, that the possibility was this terrorist attack because of the $6 billion that was released to Iran here recently. Anthony Blinken actually just addressed that. And I will let you hear his response here in a moment. Wow. Get to that here in a moment as well. Look at how serious this is getting already. Israel formally declared war on Hamas Sunday following unprecedented attack by them that left hundreds dead, now about 1,200. I have ordered a complete siege on the Gaza Strip, Defense Minister Gallant said on Monday. Quote, there will be no electricity, no food, no fuel. Everything is closed. We are fighting human animals and we are acting accordingly. More than 2 million Palestinians live within the area that's roughly the size of Washington, D.C., and have little ability to move due to a blockade that has been in place since 2007. The Israeli military said Monday it has retaken control of all communities around Gaza since Hamas launched the unprecedented attack on Israel early Saturday. More than 700 Israeli civilians, including over 250 people that attended the music festival, members of the military, were killed by the Palestinian militant group, with another 2,150 people wounded. Wow. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin announced Sunday that he has ordered American military ships, including an aircraft carrier and additional aircraft, to move closer to the Eastern Mediterranean in response to this attack. At least 9 U.S. citizens were killed. And he says, quote, today, in response to this attack on Israel, and following detailed discussions with President Biden, I have directed several steps to strengthen the Department of Defense posture in the region to bolster regional deterrence efforts, they said in a news release. The USS Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group includes the USS Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier, which is the largest warship in the world, in addition to guided missile cruiser USS Normandy and multiple guided missile destroyers USS Thomas, USS Rampage, USS Carney, and USS Roosevelt. They were in the Western Mediterranean when it received orders to deploy. It could have to travel over 1,000 miles. There is a picture of it right here. And this is just the aircraft carrier that you could, there will be multiple other ships that will be accompanying it also. So you can see things are quickly escalating very, very quickly. So what we just discussed here in one of the previous videos is that the U.S., Biden, or the Department of Defense, or whoever, recently made the decision to release $6 billion of Iran's money back to them. Okay, so it was a very controversial decision. And now, here about 2 or 3 weeks later, this terrorist group, which has been in the past funded by Iran, now attacks Israel. And the question was, were they funded now all of a sudden again by Iran? Here is what U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has to say about this here today. Take a listen.
That's what we're focused on. Mr. Secretary, as you know, Republican candidates have been criticizing the administration for the deal that you just struck with Iran to release 5 American detainees in exchange for some Iranian detainees, as well as releasing $6 billion. Your officials have already said Iran has not yet seen a cent of that money. But how do you respond to Republican critics who say that that deal funded the attacks on Israel?
Well, it's very unfortunate that some are playing politics at a time when so many lives have been lost and Israel remains under attack. Here are the facts. The facts are that these were not U.S. taxpayer dollars. These were Iranian resources that it had accumulated from the sale of its oil that were stuck in a bank in South Korea from day one, under our law, under our sanctions, going back many years. It's always had the right to use those funds for humanitarian purposes, for food, for medicine, for medical equipment. The funds were moved from one bank to another where it could more easily do that, but under the close supervision of the U.S. Treasury Department.
Mr. Secretary, I don't want...
No, it's important. It's important to get these facts right, because here's what's going on. Again, not a single cent has been spent from that account. When any money is spent from that account, it can only be used for medical supplies, for food, for medicine. And those who are saying otherwise are either misinformed or misinforming, and it's wrong either way.
What do you say about the argument that money is fungible? So Iran may have known this money is coming and used other funds to help fund this attack that happened.
Iran has unfortunately always used and focused its funds on supporting terrorism, on supporting groups like Hamas, and it's done that when there have been sanctions. It's done that when there haven't been sanctions, and it's always prioritized that. And again, I come back to the proposition that these funds have always been, under the law, available to Iran to use for humanitarian purposes. The Trump administration set up a very similar mechanism to enable Iran to use these kinds of assets for humanitarian purposes. We've done the same thing.
So, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken says the $6 billion in frozen Iranian funds remains unspent in the wake of the Hamas attack. So, there you have it. And those are the details. You guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. And the U.S. is moving a aircraft carrier fleet over closer to this new war that has been declared. Israel has declared war on Palestine, and the United States, President Biden, and the Department of Defense has also declared that we will support them. So we are now supporting 2 wars. I will keep you up to date here. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. If you haven't yet, subscribe down below, click the bell icon, and thank you for liking and sharing these videos. People need to know about this, and a lot of people don't even know about this yet.